This is a story about a turtle named Timothy who was very, very slow. Like he was always late for dinner, late for tea parties, and even late for sunrise. And although Timothy was kind, patient, and polite, all the other animals teased him relentlessly. "What's the point of a turtle if he can't even win a race?" they'd laugh. But Timothy would just sigh and slowly walk away. One day while strolling through the nearby woods, Timothy noticed something strange. It was a tiny wooden box buried under a leaf. As he nudged it closer, he saw an ornate gold pocket watch engraved with mystical symbols. The second he touched it, the watch sprung open and an enchanting chime echoed through the trees. Startled, Timothy watched as the hands spun wildly before coming to a stop at 12 o'clock. Just then, a gentle voice echoed in his head, "Whoever possesses this watch can control time itself." Timothy nearly fainted from surprise. Was this a trick? A prank by those naughty monkeys? But the voice continued, "With this pocket watch, you have the power to speed up, rewind, or even pause time. Use it wisely, young friend, and the power of time will be yours forever." And with that, the voice faded away and the pocket watch returned to normal. Timothy couldn't believe what had just happened. Was he dreaming? Could he really control time? Excited to test the watch's powers, he started running towards home. Normally, his pace would take him hours to cover this distance, but he pressed the watch's hands forward and poof, he suddenly found himself racing across the fields. Amazed by the change in speed, he pressed the hands back and slowed down, returning to his regular pace. He tried pressing the hands all the way back, but nothing happened. He turned the hands forwards again and zoomed ahead. Timothy spent the whole day zipping around the kingdom, having the time of his life. As night fell, he remembered he needed to return the watch. Its magic was incredible, but he didn't want to keep it. Soon, he arrived back at the tree where he'd found it and carefully buried it under the same leaf. Then he headed home, his heart filled with joy and gratitude for his exciting adventure. The next morning, Timothy woke up to the sound of cheering. What was all the commotion about? Curious, he peeked out of his house and gasped in surprise. King Leo the lion stood proudly before a huge crowd of animals. "Attention, everyone," boomed the king, "I challenge each of you to a great race around the kingdom. Whoever wins shall be crowned the timekeeper of the forest, responsible for keeping time for all of us." Wow, everyone thought, this would be a piece of cake. "You can do it, cheetah. Go get 'em, kangaroo." Even Sammy the squirrel was confident. She was practicing parkour moves on her jetpack. Everyone wanted to be the new timekeeper, except Timothy. He sighed worriedly. What would he do? He was far too slow for such a race. Maybe he could sneak away unnoticed. But no, the king's booming voice echoed, "All animals, big or small, are welcome to participate." Let the timekeeper games begin. As the other animals got ready, Timothy hid behind a bush, hoping to avoid being seen. Suddenly, Shelly the snail poked her head out from beneath Timothy's shell. "You don't mean you're not gonna enter, do you, Tim? This is our chance to prove we're more than just slow. We could finally show them what we're made of." Timothy hesitated, torn between his desire to hide and his longing to be accepted. Finally, he straightened his shell, took a deep breath and replied, "All right, Shelly, let's do it. But don't expect me to win. I'm still kinda slow." Off they went, joining the long line of eager contestants. As the race began, the cheetah shot off like a lightning bolt, quickly followed by the kangaroo. Next came Sammy the squirrel, soaring through the air on her jetpack. They were all so fast. Timothy struggled to keep up. Glancing at the pocket watch in his shell, he realized he had only one option. Pressing the hands forward, he sped up time for himself. Phew, now he could keep up with the others. But zooming around like this wasn't as fun as he'd thought. All he could see was a blur of colors and hear the wind whipping past him. Where were they going? Would he crash into something? Shaking his head to clear it, he realized he had to focus on winning the race. After all, he did have the power to control time. But just then, something caught his eye. Poor Benny the bunny had tripped and fallen. The other racers were too busy trying to win and didn't notice. But Timothy did. Stopping his own race for a moment, he turned the hands all the way back and gently nudged Benny with his nose. "Are you okay?" he asked. Startled, Benny looked up. "Oh, yes, Timothy. Thank you. I didn't realize the race had started. I was taking my time smelling these beautiful flowers." Timothy smiled understandingly. He knew how important it was to take your time to appreciate the little things in life. He'd never rush Benny. Suddenly, the voice in his head warned him, "If you overuse the watch's powers, its magic may disappear." Timothy gasped. He almost forgot about the pocket watch. Quickly, he sped up again, catching up to the others. He noticed the bridge was out, blocking their path. Ahead, Sammy the squirrel leaped onto her jetpack. "Looks like I win. I'll be the new timekeeper for sure." But suddenly, her jetpack sputtered and died. Oh no. Without the jetpack, she wouldn't make it in time. Timothy rushed over. "Don't worry, Sammy. I'll fix it." As everyone waited patiently, Timothy closed his eyes, turned the watch hands all the way back and rewound time until the bridge was whole. Then he sped up time again, and the animals raced over the newly repaired bridge. "Thank you, Timothy," Sammy called out. "You're a true hero." But Timothy just waved. He had to hurry if he wanted to catch up to the others. The race continued, and soon enough, Timothy spotted Benny once more. But instead of racing ahead, she sat sadly on a log. Surprised, Timothy stopped and asked, "Why aren't you continuing the race, Benny?" Benny sighed. "I've lost my balance. I'll never win like this." Why bother continuing? Seeing her sadness, Timothy felt bad. He couldn't bear to see another friend so down. So, he did something unexpected. He pressed the watch hands all the way back and stayed still. When Benny looked over, confused, he gestured towards the watch, which was now spinning rapidly. And then he ran towards her as fast as he could. Startled, Benny jumped onto his shell as he sped past her. They zoomed together until Timothy judged he'd given her enough of a head start to win the race. "There you go, Benny. Now you can win the race and become timekeeper of the forest. I won't get in your way." Benny stared at him, surprised. "But, Timothy, why? You could have easily won yourself." Timothy smiled. "I know, but you're my friend and I want you to be happy. Winning isn't everything, you know." Benny understood what Timothy meant and thanked him warmly. Then she set off to finish the race. As the sun began to set, most of the animals had already crossed the finish line. Timothy was the last one left. But as he approached, the crowd erupted into cheers. They cheered for his big heart and all the good deeds he'd done along the way. Even Sammy, who had won the race, was nowhere near as popular. Timothy felt a warmth inside spread throughout his whole body. Winning the race wasn't important to him, but the love and respect of his friends truly mattered. When Benny crossed the finish line, King Leo was ready to award her the prize. But then a hush fell over the crowd. Wise Old Owl hooted softly, "Wait, there is one more thing we must discuss." The animals were puzzled. What else was there to discuss? Hadn't the race ended? Hooting again, they all announced, "I declare Timothy the true timekeeper of the forest." The crowd gasped. Why was Timothy being chosen? What had he done to deserve this honor? From atop his stone throne, King Leo explained, "You see, the role of timekeeper is not just about being the fastest, it's about being the fairest, kindest and most patient. And no one here is more deserving than Timothy." Timothy was shocked. He couldn't believe he'd won. His heart swelled with happiness as the crowd cheered, "Hooray for Timothy!" Sammy the squirrel hopped onto his shell and congratulated him. "You were right, Timothy. Winning isn't everything. Look at how happy you are now." Timothy beamed. He was the happiest turtle in the whole wide world. As the celebration continued, Timothy noticed the pocket watch lying nearby. An idea popped into his head. He picked it up, walked over to the old oak tree and buried it under a leaf. Then he returned to the celebration, leaving the watch for someone else to find. "The right time always comes to those who care," he whispered to himself. And that, my friends, is the story of how a turtle who was always late became the hero of his kingdom because he was kind, patient, and polite. Remember, it's not always about being the fastest or the strongest. Sometimes it's about the little things, like taking the time to care for your friends and family. Because, as Timothy proved, those little things matter the most. Now it's time for you to join in the fun. If you enjoyed this whimsical tale of time travel and friendship, hit that like button and share this story with someone who needs a reminder about the importance of kindness and patience. Don't forget to subscribe for more magical adventures. Thanks for watching, friends. And we'll see you soon with another wonderful story.